Welcome to The Tongue is Mightier Than the Sword. I am Adamu Muhammad Dankore, host and producer of the program. My guest today is Emmanuel Okoro, a student of architecture in the United States. Enjoy the show.
Hey guys, hope your day is going well. I'm Emmanuel Okoro, a proud Nigerian based in the United States of America. It's a pleasure to be speaking on The Tongue is Mightier Than the Sword audio series, championed by Mr. Adamu Mohammed. I'm posed here with a question. It says, what do you think Nigeria needs? Separation, restructuring, or current system? In my own opinion, I think restructuring is the best option here. That's what Nigeria really needs right now. The current system is way too bad. So, in my own opinion, the current system it's not even an option. Separation could be an option based on your belief, but at this point in time, if we seek for a great nation, I think separation is not the best idea because there's power and unity in oneness. Okay, so just like the way it is in the United States, you have about 50 states, but all are called the United States. Like they all function as one, So if Nigeria as a country could unite its states, it's gonna make a whole lot sense, All states can work and perform independently regardless of being under one umbrella called Nigeria. So that is the kind of restructuring I think Nigeria needs right now. Thank you and God bless you. The United States of America has about 50 states, and all these 50 states they function independently regardless of the fact that they are still under one umbrella, which is the United States of America. All these 50 states have their own laws and regulations, different laws. Like the law and regulation you find in Wisconsin is different from the one you find in Iowa, is different from the one you find in New York, is different from the one you find in California, so on and so forth. That is exactly an example of what Nigeria should look like. Nigeria as a country should like supervise all its 36 states, and all these 36 states should be or should function independently. I don't know if you understand. They should have their own police, have their own jurisdiction, have their own laws, and with that, I think Nigeria is gonna be a great nation. It's gonna be the greatest and the greatest Africa would ever have. Thank you.
Emmanuel, you made mention of really good illustration of how a restructured Nigeria would look like. You made mention of the United States, of how some states have different laws of their own, for as long as they do not go against the national law. For example, the right to vote is protected in the United States Constitution. So for as long as states do not go against that, they are fine. They can do whatever they want to do for their people in the state. So that is fantastic. It allows every state to develop on its own pace. Now, my question to you, Emmanuel, you are an Igbo man. And I have the privilege of interviewing an Igbo man from Imo State who is for Biafra. He gave many examples of why he supported Biafra. I want to know from you, and this is not just Uzoma that I interviewed. Many people, many Igbos, I will say that. I think majority of Igbos, in my opinion, tilt towards having Biafra, a separation. Now, what tipped you over to support restructuring? What is it? Why aren't you for Biafra, for example? Even if you are, why is the scale tilted towards restructuring?
Hello, my people. It's me again, Emmanuel Okoro. a proud Igbo boy, a Nigerian based in the United States of America. Um, I'm posed with some questions, wanting to know why I am saying that restructuring is the best idea for Nigeria today. I gave reasons in my previous audio messages, but I now want to go more details into the reasons why a lot of Igbo people want separation, want the Biafra. I think that the Igbos, or they think that the Igbos are being marginalized, are being relegated to the periphery or the fringe of Nigerian government today. And it's not far from the truth. The fact is there. If you look at the present administration in Nigeria, you find out that the Igbos are nowhere to be found. You can find an Igbo man in in a top position in Nigeria. For instance, let me take a couple of positions. You see, the president of Nigeria is from the north, the vice president is from the west, the senate president is from the west, the speaker house of parliament is from the north, the chief justice of the federation was from the north. He just retired 3 months ago. Um, then when we come to the security chiefs in Nigeria, you can find an Igbo person. So when there is a meeting, security meeting that has to do with the security of the nation, you don't have an Igbo person there. You see the army chief, the air force chief, the navy chief, the police chief, the chief of staff, the chief defense chief, minister of defense, the custom chief, all paramilitaries, both what do you call them, prisons, civil defense, all paramilitaries. You cannot find an Igbo person heading any of those positions. So I don't know if you understand. So with this, Nigerians already see it that, or the Igbos already see it that they are being marginalized and they are no longer seen as part of Nigeria. So they are no longer carried along. No one trusts them. Nigerians don't trust them anymore to give them positions to oversee or to handle. So with this, that is why Igbos think that they can no longer be part of Nigeria. I don't know if you understand. Okay, I want to put this question to you. Why is it that before now the issue of Biafra didn't come up or hasn't, come up? Why is it so? Biafra, the last Biafran war was 50 years ago. That is 1967, right? And 1967 till date 2017 is 50 years. So why is it now that Biafra is springing up and saying, oh, they want their own sovereignty, they want their own nation, they want to be independent, they want to go, they don't want to be part of Nigeria anymore? Have you thought that? Have you thought about that? This is the reason. This present administration has made it so obvious. Right from independence, the Igbos has not really benefited from Nigerian government. Like when I mean benefit, they've benefited, but like you can compare the level of the level of benefactor or the level at which they've benefited with that of the northerner and the westerner. You can compare it. It's so clear. I don't know if you understand. It's crystal clear. So the Igbos, but they have, like been enduring not until this last or this present administration, where they made it very obvious that Igbos, we don't like you. Go to hell. Do whatever you want to do. We don't like you, and you're not going to be part of our government. That is the problem the present administration or Nigeria is facing right now. That is the main reason why Igbos anonymously or they all together want their own nation. I don't know if you understand. So that is it. But I don't think that is the best idea right now for Nigeria, because we are talking about Nigeria and we are not talking about Biafra. We are not talking about some states, but we are talking about how to help make Nigeria great. And the only way Nigeria can be great today is restructuring. All individual states would benefit greatly from it. All Biafran state will still benefit greatly from it because they are all going to be independent. So for me, I think in a way, Biafra's goal will still be achieved, except there is some kind of selfish benefits which some persons are aiming to achieve by creating a Biafran nation. Because when these nations are autonomy, like these states are autonomy, they act independently. They go ahead to discharge their duties independently. They have their laws. They have they function independently. Their oil, whatever proceed they make from it, they use it to develop their nation, or they use it to develop their states. So they only pay tax to the federal government, or some quarter, some percentage to the federal government. I think restructuring is way too better. I think I'm gonna stop here for now. Thank you. Hi, Adamu. I think based on the questions which you asked me, um, with restructuring, Biafra would still achieve its goal. The main goal of Biafra is to develop its own states with the proceeds of the states, right? So they feel they're being marginalized, and the federal government takes proceeds from the southern states or from the Biafran states and takes it to the federal city, to FCT, and to other states, or they take the proceeds of the Biafran states. They use that proceed to develop northern states. That is the way a typical Biafran reasons, So the main aim of Biafra is to have its own states, whereby they use the proceeds or revenue from the states to develop its states. You understand? So if restructuring, it's possible. Like if there was a good restructuring, that goal will still be achieved. Yeah, because each of the states would be functioning independently. So whatever revenue that is coming from the states is used by the state to develop the state. Only a small amount of percent of the state's revenue would be sent across to the nation or to the federal government. So restructuring, to me, I still stand, is the best thing that could happen to Nigeria. Yeah.
I like how you connected the goals of Biafra with the objectives of restructuring. How restructuring will solve the problem of Biafra, would give Biafra what it wants while being together, basically. It might interest you to know, and you probably know this. The original goal of Biafra wasn't Biafra. They wanted more like restructuring. The Aburi Accord of 1967 was that. Ojukwu sat down with the federal government to have more power vested to the east. When that fell through, Ojukwu declared Biafra's independence. So the Biafrans originally wanted restructuring. Um, so, so I truly also believe with you, Emmanuel, that restructuring will give every state, not just the eastern states, its own space to develop on its own, for the people to be free. I always like to compare, make an analogy of restructuring to an estate. Take, for example, Kado Estate, where I believe you know. Kado Estate has so many houses. Each of these houses, consider them as states. The entire Kado Estate considered as a country. In each house, the residents of each of these houses can do whatever they want. This is basically how restructuring is. And then they can contribute a little bit to build the roads, the streets along the estate. Something that people use in common. But in your house is your laws, is your rules, are your rules. So that's how restructuring is. So I really appreciate you connecting this restructuring and Biafra, how restructuring would solve Biafra. To conclude, is there anything else you want to say to those supporting Biafra, to those that don't want change? What would you say to them?
All I have to say to everyone out there is, be your original self. Be yourself. Don't be a follower. Try to read, educate yourself, trace antecedents, go to the archive, the nation's archive, read through things that have happened in the past, things that are happening. Try to keep yourself exposed, keep yourself informed, because information is key. Information is knowledge. Stop being a follower. Stop following the crowd. If I cannot beat them, I join them. No, we have gone past that stage. Be the original of yourself. Write your own script. Do what you think is right. Whatever you believe in, I support you to go with whatever you believe in, but make sure that whatever you believe in is the right thing. You are too big to be misleaded. Okay? Thank you, and God bless you. That's all I have to say to everyone out there. Be your original self. Write your own script and not play the script that has been written down for you by some other person for their own reason, which you might not even know. All right. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to The Tongue is Mightier Than the Sword. The goal of this audio series is to encourage Nigerians to embrace the power of dialogue as the best and only acceptable method of political, economic, and social change in the country. To participate in the program, reach me on my WhatsApp number +1 319 296 5799 and tell me if you think Nigeria needs separation, restructuring, or the current system. On behalf of my guest, I'm your host and producer, Adamu Muhammad Dankore.